have to actually beat the guy. And that's how it's always been given the rub. That's wrestling 101. And I think Punk knows that. I think AEW knows that. And the guy who beats CM Punk for the belt is going to be forever known as the guy. So why not Swerve?
Respect. I get it. I mean, that's why I said, like, the only way I could really see them ever putting it on him is if he's about to really put somebody over. But outside of that.
So you guys were talking about CM Punk and, how he's, fell in love with wrestling again. I know we are not a big fan of the name, the Jericho Appreciation Society, but I want to point out there are a lot of similarities between the Straight Edge Society and the Jericho Appreciation. I mean, it's almost identical, those two groups, because they have Jericho has followers and Punk had followers. And last night I was watching that promo that Jericho gave, and I really loved the promo. I thought it was probably one of his bests. But I just thought there are so many striking similarities between these two groups. It's not even, it's almost scary how close they are.
I was gonna say, J-Mo. I mean, do you think we get a CM Punk Chris Jericho feud right now? Like Punk kind of coming in and telling Jericho like this whole gimmick is a joke. Like, don't come in here with that WWE shit. Kind of like pushing the edge. Like, that would be awesome, J-Mo. Like, I would fucking be all for that.
Yeah, I mean, I would be on board for it because, I mean, when Punk, I was a big fan of Punk, and what is it? Dub, was it the Straight Edge Society, right?
Yeah, Straight Edge Society.
Yeah.
Him, Luke Gallows, Joey Galloway, and Serena Deeb.
And Serena Deeb, yeah. But I mean, I thought that would be sweet if we could get Jericho and Punk just for a little mini feud. I mean, it doesn't have to be a long drawn out feud with like MJF like it was. But I mean, just a mini feud would be nice because Punk and Kingston are boys. So
they are.
I always thought they were boys.
I assume no one likes Eddie Kingston.
Yeah,
he's just so New York and so abrasive.
Seeing that they just wrestled each other, I don't think that's I mean, not saying off the air, but on air, not like boys.
I know they've worked a lot together, so I know they have history together, but yeah. Also, really quick about CM Punk, do we ever think we see him and Colt Cabana like on TV together? Or no.
No, after the lawsuits and stuff, I think they stay as far away from each other as possible just to not fuck up the money.
Yeah, Dub said it very well.
I don't even think that. I think Colt Cabana is a non-factor in anything that CM Punk is doing right now. So why even do that? He would be lucky to get some rub from CM Punk at this point because he's just been doing goofy shit in the Dark Order for like 2.5 years now.
Facts.
So there's that. Anyway, to sadder news, the loss of the original bad guy, Scott Hall, Razor Ramon, was official, I think, yesterday?
I believe it was Monday night.
Monday night. Like right in the middle of
Okay, yeah, Monday. My apologies. Yeah, so I know we've all had our things. I know, BA, you had mentioned earlier, like, it's the cool thing to like the heels. I think that's essentially where that came from. Razor Ramon's character was such a huge, like, to me, I think it's just in the cultural zeitgeist. It's just something that we love to gravitate towards. To everybody has either thrown a toothpick at somebody or said, "Hey, yo, Chico," or did the spooky hands. Ooh, like it's just little things that people might even know where that shit comes from, but they've been influenced by Scott Hall in some way, and even my name being E-Ray, the bad guy, comes from that. So it's just really sad from his passing. He got a lot of love on the Twitters from a lot of wrestlers and people alike. Like I said, shout out to another Detroiter, Alex Kane, for making his song Razor's Edge. I had to listen to that like 1 or 2 times after the passing because it's a fantastic song and it's set to the tune of Razor Ramon's theme music. It's hard. So
Fire.
I'm about to check that out. I wasn't even hip.
Yeah, it's on my Facebook. He dropped it there. It was on SoundCloud, but it's fantastic. But yeah. So just quickly, I kind of not off of Razor Ramon or Scott Hall, but just thinking on that same subject. What was like, I guess, the best appearance? Because they pretty much Scott Hall, the Outsiders, created the invasion type thing, man. We've seen that trope now plenty of times. In your opinions, we can start with BA and just work our way to J-Mo, then A-Dub. But your favorite invasion angle in wrestling, or when someone showed up where you're like, wait, you don't go here. What's happening? What was your favorite version of that?
I mean, it's gonna sound corny. I mean, we're all kids of the '90s, man. And
don't say it. Don't you say it.
Just seeing them show up, man. Like that was wild to me. Like I can't, as far as bigger moments, like
go ahead, say it.
I can think of the ECW guys showing up in WWE, and the WWE guys that's showing up ECW as being like the 1B to what you already know. I want to say.
I'm not gonna bully you off your point, BA.
No.
Go ahead.
You're fine. I had to go back to meaningful things. I gotta dig deep, man. This THC infused brain has to dig deep sometimes. But with that all being said, the obvious is of course the main NWO invasion, but one that also stuck out with me in that time frame that was happening, I believe a little bit after that one, was when the ECW and WWF had like a little handshake deal to where Jim Cornette and I think maybe Vader and Mankind were showing up on ECW, and vice versa, to where they were showing up on Raw some nights. I remember Sabu doing a crazy stunt, like a crazy moonsault off of the A of the Raw sign, the old school
and losing
Raw sign.
all his blood like usual. Anytime he ever showed up, gallon of blood.
Absolutely.
Before Cody must bleed. It was Sabu must
By
die.
the way, shame on us for all having to watch Raw to see Cody, but we'll talk about that later. But anyways, yes, the ECW, the OG ECW invasion will be the one that sticks out the most outside of the obvious answer. And RIP to the bad guy.
J-Mo.
Bad guys live forever. I mean, that's I watched his Hall of Fame speech the other day after he passed, and I was like, I've seen a lot of Hall of Fame speeches, and yeah, he may not have been all there, but it was still probably one of my favorite Hall of Fame speeches. But BA, to kind of get on your soapbox again with the Raw and the ECW. Remember when Jerry the King Lawler went to ECW and got booed out of the building because the King had a few words about the ECW crowd?
He was talking crazy. For the 90s, that was pretty wild what he was saying.
Yeah, and then Rob Van Dam turned heel that night too. But I just remember as a kid, I was at a buddy's house when Hall and Nash, when they showed up, and I was like, wait a minute. I was like, that's Diesel and Razor Ramon. What are they doing on Monday night WCW?
In acid wash denim.
Yeah, I know. I was just blown away by that. And I mean, I guess just to think about like an invasion angle, that recently, I mean, I really can't think of one that like makes sense to me. I mean, I guess what I've seen recently, like the Honor No More guys, like invading Impact, like with Bennett and Matt Taven and PCO and Vincent and Maria Canales. But I mean, it was kind of a partnership they had. But
E-Ray has no clue what you're talking about.
He has no idea.
Did I just hear a Virgil name drop in there?
Right.
No. Vincent.
Vincent. Is that like Vincent the butler? Like, what are you talking about, J-Mo?
No, sorry. I really enjoy Mike Bennett.
Fan.
I enjoy Mike Bennett and Matt Taven.
Shit on us. Like, you guys don't know real wrestling, you pieces of shit.
We're sports entertainment fans. J-Mo's a wrestling fan.
He's going to show up to control your narrative.
Sure.
I don't even know if I want to show up to
for your first match.
That shit's going to be wild. J-Mo's not going to be there.
If you've had 70 matches or this your first match, we all are inclusive. Like,
to quote the great Jim Cornette, it's gonna be watchable because it's gonna be like a man fucking a dog on the side of the road. Everybody just gonna want to see what it looks like. It's not gonna be fun to look at or nice to look at, but everybody's gonna want to see what it looks like. Just take a quick glimpse. So yes, I agree, J-Mo. A lot of Jim Cornette quotes tonight. Shout out to
clearly,
right?
Yeah, BA
that's some decent content.
Yeah, I'm really amazed that you and Jim Cornette are on the same level. But
hey, man. He's got some interesting takes, man. The dude knows the business, and the jokes he makes about the Young Bucks are pretty funny. I know you don't like that, J-Mo, but it's pretty funny. I'm sorry.
Oh man! All right, so I guess I got to stick to the assignment here. E-Ray said best invasion angle that of recent memory or just memory in general. It's got to be when the NXT guys showed up after the guys were stuck in Saudi. Like
my man.
For me, and E-Ray, I'm sure you agree with me, we were just black and gold diehards. And for those guys, I'm going to talk to the static. I don't even fucking care right now. I'm getting my shit off. For those guys to show up on SmackDown and just to tear that roster apart and then watch Adam Cole beat Daniel Bryan when Bryan was on just a run. It felt like true validation of everything we were saying to people who weren't watching NXT or to people who would say Raw or SmackDown was better. We were like, no, this little fucking thing they're doing on Wednesdays is kind of fucking crazy. And it's kind of sort of the best thing that's on television. Absolutely. And for them to show up and just do that, to me, that was like the best thing ever. And for me personally, like I think that was better than Hall and Nash showing up, because that happened. You were like, all right, it happened, but what's going on? And then it gave you the slow build to the NWO. It was better than the invasion of 01, which most people hate. I liked it. Whatever, whole other thing. Better than J-Mo's wrestling invasion of honorable folk and impacted people.
Impact, right? Oh, Maria Kanellis invading
Virgil's airspace.
Right. I was like, I don't know what's happening there. You're right.
It's better than New Japan and AEW's partnership was just John Moxley beating up Asian guys. I mean, that was just the best.
And John Cena ever. Beat up John Cena.
Exactly, because for one, it was so unexpected. The only thing you knew going into that SmackDown was that half the roster was stuck in Saudi Arabia, but we all know Vince. They flew 2 planes into the towers, and he said the show has to go on. Wrestlers started dying. He's like, well, the show still has to go on. So you knew, like,
blew up.
He died. Essentially.
McMahon died. And he said,
died kayfabe.
You know what?
He said,
show
the show
must go on. And appeared the next night like, hey, guys, sorry about that thing, but Benoit is no longer here. Died. Oh, wait. We can't even mention him anymore because now we just found out what he did. Erased. He is literally like the player 23 in live now. It's just a silhouette. So if you ever go back and look at any match, you don't even see him. It's just a black silhouette locking up with Eddie Guerrero. It's crazy. It's been scrubbed from the history books. But no, I am in utter agreement with A-Dub. That was like, oh my gosh, the validation, the seeing the guys that we loved on a bigger stage and actually doing something, and then having probably the best not SummerSlam, but Survivor Series there was. Like Survivor Series is pretty whack. Keep it real.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we gotta wear blue t-shirts. We wear red t-shirts. It's literally like, oh, blood versus Crips. Shit's weak. I don't want to see that. But you put the NXT people in there too. Now it's like, oh, NXT. Let's see how y'all stack up against these main roster talent.
And it was like everything they did. Shayna Baszler runs in, runs through Sasha, runs through Bailey, and then you cut to the back. Bianca's throwing people in trash cans and shit, and everybody's freaking out like, "Yo, what's going on?"